back to give my opinions on some of the bigger topics happening in the Big Brother 25 house. I couldn't record a video last night because I had to catch up on some of the stuff that happened after the veto meeting. Although the Hisam backdoor was not quite as eventful as I was hoping it to be on feeds. A lot of that has to do because we missed the initial reactions, and they were also cutting out other stuff last night. So it didn't give as much as we were hoping it would give. But Hisam was backdoored, and he was very subdued after being backdoored. I think a lot of that was shock. I think a lot of that was trying to play it smart. But before that, before the veto meeting, there was more drama. When Felicia went and confronted Jag and had him, as Ray said in the comments, kind of stumbling over his words, but I thought it was kind of random. I think Felicia's paranoia was running her yesterday, and paranoia and emotions have been running the game. I mean, Cirie is running the social game for sure, but even she herself has been very paranoid and kind of emotional. She is a Cancer, I think, so it makes sense. I think that, yeah, Felicia, Izzy, Cirie are the power duo right now, controlling a lot of the house. A lot of that is thanks to Cirie's social game, in my opinion. But them being paranoid all the time has also been ruling the house. And yesterday, Felicia's paranoia was kind of taking over before the veto meeting, thinking that maybe the newest fake alliance with Jag, Blue, Matt, Felicia, Izzy, Jared, Cirie was kind of going to screw her over. So she was considering not nominating Hisam, but in the end, still went through with the back door. I think it's unfortunate, but it's true that Hisam didn't play this that good. Him campaigning to all sides and telling all sides different things to keep him, I get why he's doing that. It makes the odds that he has more votes in his favor. But as we've learned, this house talks a lot, so information gets around. So if he's talking to one side, oh, I'm going to be loyal to you, I'm going to be loyal to the professors, I'll forget this if you save me. And then he's telling the youngins, I'll be loyal to you if you save me. It's kind of one of the things that got him in trouble in the first place with making a deal with Jag and Blue. So I think his odds are not very good at staying, which we all thought anyway. I feel like he should have just tried to rally people against the people he should want revenge on in Felicia, Izzy, Cirie. But he didn't do that. He tried to play all sides, and I think that's going to continue to backfire in his face like it has already. I don't feel sorry for Hisam. I'm sorry. I know the Big Brother fans are so weird. You spend all this time on social media tearing apart these players for anything they say or do, even though 99% of it this season has not been cancelable, in my opinion. But Hisam did do a lot of annoying shit. I called him out on it. I don't like him. And Twitter didn't like him. But now suddenly everybody wants to feel sorry for him. Yeah, I don't feel sorry for him. Maybe I just have a cold heart when it comes to players in these games. But I do not feel sorry for Hisam. He did this to himself. Yes, for some of these players, this backdoor was dumb and unnecessary. It's like too early for them to want to do this. But Hisam himself did get himself into this predicament. He had a terrible HOH. He was acting like the king, being condescending to everybody, and it made him the house target. And as much as these people talk, clearly Hisam had a terrible enough social game that nobody told him he was going to be backdoored. Everybody in the house knew but him. So he was definitely doing something wrong. He got himself into this predicament. Something he is doing, though, is going around throwing people under the bus, as he should. Jared has caught some strays, finally, with Jag, because Hisam did tell Jag that Jared's whole thing was to play Jag's side. Jag's gotten a lot of good info here. That's probably the biggest information that he's gotten. I don't have faith in Jag. I don't have faith in these youngins, including Matt. All of the young people have been sucking so hard in this game. I've talked about it before. The only thing Jag ever wants to do is just make big alliances. And right now, I do think he feels pretty comfortable in the new fake alliance of 7 of him, Blue, Matt, Cirie, Jared, Izzy, Felicia. But I will say, I do feel like the game is more fluid, which is what I wanted in the first place. Talking about Survivor, talking about Cirie, bringing fluidity to the game. People are still saying Big Brother can't be fluid. We're 3 weeks into this thing, and it's been very fluid. A lot of that has to do with the usual Big Brother, where everybody just creates alliances all the time, and there's all these different alliances. But because there's all these different alliances, there's like, people are connected to different people now. We have like, Jag is now connected into this alliance as well. Blue is connected thanks to his showmance, which we'll talk about here in a while. But more people are connected. There's like interconnections in this game. There was never 2 sides. It was a 4-person alliance versus everybody else. So there was never really 2 sides in this game in the first place. And now I feel like there is enough interconnected alliances to make this, or continue to make this, a fluid game. Now Cirie has her hands in every alliance. She's connected to everybody except for America, which is why she continues to try and grow America's target. And she's doing a very good job of that because America's kind of putting herself in trouble because, you know, Alex and I talked about it over a week ago that America needed to better her social game. It seemed like she did over the week. But because of her slow start socially, we now see that it's already catching up to her because she's not as close to everybody else in the house that everybody else is, other than maybe Mimi. But Mimi does have a connection to her original alliance, whereas America didn't start this game with any good connections those first 2 weeks. And she's still suffering because of that, in my opinion, which is why her target is now growing. Another thing to grow her target was Blue. You know, Blue's got a lot of good information too these past couple days, like Jag, but Blue only used America's information against her. America was talking about how the sides and how Cirie, Felicia, Izzy are a power thing, and that side has a lot of numbers and they need to come up with their own thing. But Blue, now believing this fake alliance, went and ratted out America to Felicia, Cirie, Izzy, and that now has America in a tough spot. Blue is pretty worthless in this game. I'm sorry. Like, she was clearly casted like some of the usual types over the past several seasons of just being wanting to be a wannabe influencer, and she's there for a showmance. Other than that, she's brought nothing to the table. Blue has so much good information with the whole Jared always talking about having a secret. She sees the power structure of Cirie, Felicia, Izzy, knows Jared is close to those 3, but doesn't tell anybody about Jared always talking about her a secret, doesn't really push any other information that she has except for the America thing. These younger people are going to continue to make this game easy for Cirie, Izzy, and Felicia, despite those 3 playing so messy thanks to their paranoia and emotions. Somebody playing well, though, in my opinion, is Cameron. He wants to build this army against that power structure. Now, do I think he's going to be successful in that? Not necessarily, but I like that he has this idea. I see some people trying to give Corey credit for that idea of Cameron's, and that's not true. You know, the white nerd stereotype always gets overrated. And I think Corey's doing great, but let's not start giving credit to Corey for things that he's not doing. This is actually Cameron's baby. This is the way Cameron has played from the beginning. It's been very confusing, but I think it's starting to play out well. He wants to be in the big alliance at first. Once he sees it's not working, throws them completely under the bus to join the other power structure on the other side. Now that that power structure is growing, he wants to go opposite that. You know, it's similar to what I thought Cirie was going to do at the beginning of the season, always trying to crack the power structures. But that's what Cameron's doing, and I like the idea. And if Cameron survives this week, which is looking like he's going to be in a great spot. Corey wants to use him as a weapon. Cirie, Felicia, Izzy are always trusting him. They want to get... So many people want to get Red out before him in that duo when Cameron is by far the more dangerous of the two. I don't think Red has a lot going for him. I think he wants to continue to be an under-the-radar player, whereas Cameron, he wants to do shit in this game, and you give him the opportunity to do that, he's going to do it. So Cameron's surviving this week. Cameron's going to be in a good spot, and I think he deserves some credit for that. Now, Corey does deserve credit of his own. Corey's playing. He's going to different people, trying to persuade them to go after different people. Like Corey, the opposite of Blue, and Jake for that matter, when Corey gets information, he knows what to do with that information. He knows how to put different targets on different people. He's doing a great job at this game. I like the way he's playing. He is in with the people he needs to be in with. Cirie, Jared, Felicia, I guess Izzy. And he can't continue to protect America like I think he wanted to at first because she's doing it to herself. I do think he would protect Nicole. I think he sees the board better than anyone in the game right now. And that's very important sometimes. Corey sees the house dynamics better than anyone. And that is a great quality to have. And I think that is why he is playing one of the better games. It's hard for me to say Corey's playing a better game than Cirie, despite how messy she's been. Socially, everybody trusts her. Like, when Jake found out that information yesterday, when Matt found out information from Hisam, they talked about it. They don't trust people on that side very much. But who do they trust? Cirie. You know, she's getting some comparisons to Paul's game in Big Brother 19. And I understand why, because Paul did play a game of getting sheep to do bidding for him. Cirie's kind of doing the same. Felicia is basically a sheep for Cirie. Izzy's kind of a sheep for Cirie. Jared actually isn't a sheep for his mother, but she has that weapon. Unlike Paul, who started the game with several weeks of safety, Cirie does not have that. She does have the advantage of having her son in the game, though, which is an advantage, but it's not as big of an advantage as 3 weeks of safety to set up your own social game like Paul got to do. So the comparisons to Paul make sense. However, what Paul sucked at was the jury of stabbing everybody in the back and having a better jury. Now, Cirie will have to stab some people in the back, but her social game at this point is so good that it might actually end up being very respectable in the end. I could see the way she's playing, that if she doesn't get to the end, has to stab people in the back because she's aligned with everybody, she might still get the winning vote because of how good her social game is. So Cirie's still doing great. Izzy, her partner in crime, awful. Izzy talking about how Hisam was her number one, crying about it, mad at Hisam today for going around throwing Izzy under the bus even though Izzy stabbed him in the back. Izzy's social game is 100% emotions. Her game in general might be 100% emotions. I know people get annoyed with her because she always has to be mad at someone. She always has to hate someone because that's the only way she could, in her mind, target people, I think. I understand it. I still don't mind Izzy. She still cracks me up. She's a lot. She gets too emotional sometimes. All the crying gets annoying. But I understand her. I understand why she has to hate people to target them. I think because she's an emotional person, that is the way she convinces herself in her head, hey, this person pissed me off. I hate them. Let me put targets on their back. I get it. But game-wise, she's doing terrible because she is so emotional and she should not be mad at Hisam. Like, she did this to Hisam. Hisam should be throwing her ass under the bus. It is what it is. And Izzy's stupid for throwing what should have been one of her real number ones under the bus because, you know, she's questioned herself if she should be going far with Jared and Cirie and that trio, and even Felicia. See, at the bottom of that, she might be. She's always trying to keep Nicole away from that alliance. It's not working anymore. I think Cirie does see that Mimi is with them now. And I think that's another person Izzy kind of sees on the board, that if Nicole's also in this alliance, where is Izzy going to stand in this alliance, numbers-wise, in the top 5? I understand why she does the things she does. She's not very good at doing them, though, because she's such an emotional player. Lastly, we have to talk about the showmance, I suppose, don't we? Blue and Jared, they made out today. Blue's been trying to get him to kiss her for several days now. We also found out the past few days that Blue has someone back home as well. So both Blue and Jared are possibly cheating on people back home. If Big Brother was still a good show, we would have vignettes of the people back home talking about Blue and Jared cheating on them. Back in the day, Big Brother used to be good at showing those things. They no longer seem to do that, but this is soap opera enough for me. I get that nobody wants the showmance, and I really don't either. And it would help if Blue and Jared actually had chemistry, but they don't. I still don't understand how Blue hears Jared has a secret and doesn't really try to get more out of him. I think maybe Jared eventually gives in and tells her. Jared wants Blue deep in this game with him, and I think that is part of the reason he's doing the showmance. Whereas Blue, I think Blue's just here for a good time. Blue's not really playing the game well. She's not really trying. She's a very lazy player. So I see her as there only for a showmance. And she said it herself, she thinks she can fix Jared. I can't blame this on Gen Z. This has been a problem with some women in the dating world for many, many years now. A very long time, where they just want to fix guys that have problems. You know, that's why fuckboys, as the youngins say these days, get away with what they get away with. It's a tale as old as time. It's something that women like to do to fix their man, make them a better person. It is just something that happens. Jared gets a lot of hate online. Jared does have issues with women. I think some of it's overblown. Like, people want to pick apart everything Jared says. Like, Jared's just bad at flirting. Some of the things he says is cringy and awkward, but clearly not enough to give Blue the ick. And maybe it's because they're just both in the house. They're both horny. They've been away from society for 3 weeks now, or probably more because of sequester. It's been a month. I don't like this showmance, but the potential is there to get some drama and some soap opera qualities out of this showmance. If Jared eventually tells Blue that Cirie is his mother, Blue probably does jack shit with that information, but maybe there's a glimmer of hope that she'll at least tell Jag or somebody about it. And that could maybe be a snowball effect within the house to really shake things up. But other than that, they're pretty boring feeds when they're on together. So, yeah, that's all for now. Hisam is still likely going home the way it's looking right now. I don't think he played it as well as he could have. He should have just tried to rally a group against the people he wants revenge on.